In this video, we're going to go over the pituitary gland. Now, the pituitary gland, this is the small gland that is found at the base of the brain. As you can see, that is the base of the brain and there it is. Now, from this detailed diagram, you can able to see that the pituitary gland, it is being connected to the hypothalamus through the pituitary stalk. And then we have the anterior lobe and the posterior lobe. So the pituitary gland, it is made up of these two lobes. Now in this case, you have to understand that the anterior lobe, in the most cases, it is the one that secretes the hormones that are responsible to stimulate other endocrine glands to function. That is the reason why the pituitary gland, it is being considered to be the master gland of the endocrine system. And then the posterior lobe, it is the one that in most cases it secretes hormones that are not involved in the in stimulating other endocrine glands to function. Now, some of these hormones that stimulates other endocrine glands to function, we have what we call the thyroid stimulating hormone. We have what we call the thyroid stimulating hormone. And we also have what we call the adrenocorticotropic hormone. And then we have what we call the follicle stimulating hormone. Follicle stimulating hormone. And then we also have what we call the luteinizing hormone. Now, we have to understand that there are a number of hormones that stimulates other endocrine glands to function, but in this video we are going to look at these. Now, thyroid stimulating hormone, it is the hormone that stimulates the thyroid gland to function. We all know that the thyroid gland, it is the one that is responsible to secrete the hormone called the thyroxine, which plays a vital role in the body of the human being. But in order for it to do that, there is a need of thyroid stimulating hormone secreted by the what? By the pituitary gland, to be specific, by the anterior lobe. Now we have what we call the adrenocorticotropic hormone. The adrenocorticotropic hormone, this one which is at this point, it is the one which is responsible to stimulate the adrenal cortex to secrete hormones. These hormones are known as the cortisol. They play a vital role in some of the in many it plays many functions in the body of the human being. Some of these functions it plays in stress, yeah. And then we have the follicle stimulating hormone. This, it stimulates the formation of follicles in the ovaries. Now we also have what we call the luteinizing hormone. This luteinizing hormone, its function is to stimulate or to cause ovulation and the formation of the corpus luteum. Now this corpus luteum, it's just a temporary collection of cells that are formed on the uh, on every on the ovary, I mean, in each menstrual cycle. So it's just a collection of cells that are formed on the ovary in each menstrual cycle. Now, coming to the posterior lobe, which secretes most of the hormones that are not involved in stimulating other endocrine glands to function, we have what we call the growth hormone. This growth hormone, it is the one that stimulates growth by causing the macromolecules to be synthesized. Now, these macromolecules that we are talking about proteins, carbohydrates, and then we have what the lipids also. So in order for someone to grow, there's a need of synthesis of these proteins which play a vital role in the growth of a particular organism. Now, we have to understand that high secretion of growth hormone leads to giantism and the condition which we call acromegaly. So we have uh, two effects if there is high secretion of growth hormone. We have what we call the giantism and the acromegaly. Now, giantism giantism is just a condition where an individual is abnormally tall and huge. Have you seen some, I hope you have seen some people who look to be very huge and tall. That is due to the high secretion of the growth hormone. And then acromegaly, this is just an enlargement of bones. Now, you also have to understand that if there is low secretion of this growth hormone, it leads to a condition known as dwarfism, the people who are very short. So if you see someone to be very short, you must consider that person that this person there was low secretion of what growth hormone. Because if there is low secretion of growth hormone, which simply means that there will be low synthesis of the low synthesis of macromolecules. Now, which simply means that there will be a little synthesis of macromolecules in most of the cases, yeah, due to the lack of growth hormone which is being under secreted. Now, there's also this hormone which we call antidiuretic hormone. Now, this antidiuretic hormone, it is also known as vasopressin. That's what you have to know. That is the other name. So the short term, the antidiuretic hormone can be abbreviated as ADH, like that. So this ADH, it causes the reabsorption of water from the loop of Henle and the renal tubule. Now, lack of antidiuretic hormone, it leads to the condition known as diabetes insipidus. Now, this diabetes insipidus, this is just a condition where a person passes out large volumes of dilute urine. The urine, it is not concentrated, but it is diluted. That's what you have to know. Now, there's also this hormone which we call oxytocin or oxytocin. Oxytocin, this, it causes rhythmic contraction of the uterus wall during childbirth, and then it also causes the mammary glands to stimulate milk or to produce milk. That's what it does. And then we also have prolactin. Prolactin, its main function as well is to is this prolactin, this is just stimulates the milk production by the mammary glands in the breasts. So that's what you have to know under the pituitary gland. Thank you for watching this video.